Welcome to the Muscle Car Place. This is Kirk, and we are in Panama City Beach in sunny Florida for a Jeep show. It's called the Jeep Jam, and we are here. Why is a muscle car podcast at a Jeep show? There is a muscle car link. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, I want to introduce Bri Lynn with us. Tell the listeners where you're from and how far did you have to drive to get to Panama City?
Well, I'm Bri. We are from Houston, Texas. It took us about 10 and a half hours. Only had to stop 3 times for fuel, so Jeep did really well.
10 and a half hours in a Jeep, that's dedication.
It is.
There's no doubt about it.
It's worth it.
So, again, what's the muscle car link here? So first off, we're here with FlexTread floor mats. That is a sister company of Legendary Auto Interiors. A lot of our listeners will know Legendary Auto Interiors because they are kind of the premium supplier of upholstery for muscle cars when it comes to Mopar, Charger, Challenger, Cudas, and then they went into GM muscle cars as well, so Camaro, Chevelles, GTOs, Oldsmobile 442, pretty much all the muscle car stuff, and they are the premium line. So one of the elements that Martin invested in was floor mats once he started, after he got so many lines involved. So when he did the custom floor mats for muscle cars to keep those machines going full time, he also went into Jeeps and trucks. So that's where FlexTread steps in. So FlexTread is a sister company of Legendary. Legendary is a company that a lot of these listeners will understand and know, but just also FlexTread is a part of that. So that's why we're here. And more importantly, you met Martin at SEMA last year.
I did.
And Martin is definitely a passionate person, and he had some floor mats there on display that had the autism awareness logos on there, and that drew your attention. And I'll let you kind of take the lead on that. How did that interaction work, or how did that happen?
Well, I was there taking some pictures and content for my company, and I had some friends that were there actually, and they spotted it first and sent me a text message. Mm-hmm. And so when I responded, it was about a few hours later. I was like, where was this location at? And they were like, oh, well, we forgot. And
oh, no.
If you've ever been to SEMA, it's massive.
Yeah, it's every conference,
so,
every building there.
Right.
Build.
So I'm sitting there, running around trying to figure out where they are. Well, it turns out they're actually in the same area that my company was in, okay. Just 3 rows up. Found them and just was in awe of the design, how they looked. And so I had approached the booth, and I was just kind of like curious and just to get a little more information. And like I said, 10 out of 10, super impressed.
Yep.
But
so the autism awareness is a campaign that Martin has kind of put together. But more importantly, when he met you, you were able to share your story about your son. So your family's here with you. Go ahead and kind of give an introduction of all your kids, and then we can definitely focus on Winter's story and tell more about that as well.
So I have 3 beautiful children. William, he's going to be 16 soon. Winter, he's 12. And then Sophia, she's 11.
Mm-hmm.
And my bonus daughter, Izzy, she's 14. I claim her, but yeah.
And then Winter, tell us some of his interests. What does he like to do?
Oh, game. He's a gamer. He's very smart when it comes to gaming. Anything science or math, super excited about that. Mm-hmm. Big Star Wars fan.
Okay.
Big Star Wars fan. Darth Vader is it. The color red, which if you notice on my Jeep, my accent color is red because it's his Jeep, not my Jeep. I just make the payment. But super smart kid. And just overall ball of energy, and has his moments where, you're like, what's going on?
Yep.
But yeah. So
the Jeep is obviously themed with all the autism awareness that it's called Grace. Mm-hmm. Let's kind of dive into how did you find out or understand like the journey in Winter and understanding his autism, and how did you get the resources that you need?
So Winter, when he was first born, great kid. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he was with me the whole time. Taking him home was great. And then shortly, about 6 months into his life, he started waking up in the middle of the night, screaming, crying, doctor sat there and told me he was just having night terrors, which didn't make sense to me because he's a baby. Like, what are they possibly dreaming of?
Right.
Fast forward a little bit to a year, his 1 year mark. I had a good friend of mine. She had a baby 2 months after Winter was born.
Okay.
He was already walking, talking, the whole 9 yards, and Winter was not. Like, he would babble, but he wasn't talking. The walking was a struggle for him. He was crawling, but everything else was just kind of slower paced for him. And so as his year progressed, I started asking more questions at the doctor's office. And they're like, oh, no, he's just a late bloomer, like just excuses here, left and right. Well, then at the age of 2, his night terrors kept getting worse.
Okay.
And his speech just was so delayed for me.
Okay.
So I was the one who requested speech therapy, got it. And by the second meeting with the therapist, she did tell me, she's like, I can't diagnose. However, I do believe he has autism. Okay. Which sent me kind of a whirlwind because I had no idea what it was. I'd never been in that realm or anything. Didn't even know where to even start to look or who to ask. And I got with the doctor, his pediatrician, and honestly, they didn't really have a whole lot of answers. Okay. So we did a referral to a neurologist that everybody recommended. And they kind of educated me on what ABA therapy is, what autism is, but still like didn't have solid answers of where it came from, like the whole 9 yards. And it wasn't until my career in the medical field got deeper and then I understood that it just kind of happens in the womb when you're pregnant. Okay. It's not something that's like hereditary or, you can just pass on kind of thing. It just happens. And it kind of made me feel better, but not. I understand. Because it's my son, you know, like he, and so anyway, moving forward, it was still hard because there was no connection with other moms, and I was referred to mom groups. However, not all moms think alike, and some have more opinions than others. So it was kind of like a no for me. So I just kind of, did what I possibly could. Autism Speaks was a good resource where I was directed to. Okay. They're a really good foundation, and they hosted a couple different walking events in Houston. So we did the Autism Speaks walk downtown, which is a lot of fun, and Winter had a lot of fun doing so, and they had good resources there. But the biggest one, it's called Three Graces. They have been a part of Winter's journey from the start. I absolutely love them. That's great. And the amount of resources that they have in the Texas area, I haven't gone national yet, but in the Texas area is phenomenal. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's scary. It's a tough journey. It seems like definitely there's God moments that happen, right? Like even in our journey with our son, there was certain people that spoke up at times that sparked an interest in the back of your mind that was like, I need to pursue this, or I need to look deeper into this. It seems like, having that one person that was like, I think this, you need to look into this. You know what I mean? Those are definitely moments that when they come along and you get that gut feeling, you have to pursue that for sure. So Winter, tell us a little bit, I think you shared with me about the time where he actually called you mommy. It was 5 years. Is that true?
For the first 5 years of his life, I was daddy. Yeah. And I have plenty of daycare videos where I'm picking him up and he's just, daddy, daddy. I'm like, I'm still mommy. Yeah.
Every day, I'm mommy.
And it was kind of like can we just work on this? And his speech therapist, Miss Rebecca, she's phenomenal. She spent forever working on it, and Mother's Day 2018 he said mama, and then when I asked him to say it again he wouldn't, and so like it was just like that little bit of hope that I had right there, like he's almost there. And then just a few months later, 4th of July, we were sitting there watching fireworks, and I was sitting there just like recording, and all of a sudden you hear mama, and I looked back and I said, what did you say? And he just kept saying it, and I have a whole video of him just sitting there saying mom, and it was oh, that's awesome. But,
yeah, we'll definitely drop some of the original video that you showed me the other night. We'll definitely drop that in here too as well.
Mama, mama,
mama, mama, mama.
it was important to me because as a single mom during that time, going through all this whole process by myself, it was hard. And then being called dad on top of that, it's like, dude, I love you, but
I need this one thing.
Just one thing, and single moms, I mean, and there's single dads too who, go through this journey. And then you're also stuck in the realm of where do I go? What resources do I have? And you just feel alone. And so, it was important.
I understand. So let's talk about Grace, the Jeep. What year Jeep is it?
It's a 2017 Jeep Wrangler. It's a JK.
Yep. So how did that interest, or where did getting involved in the Jeep community, how did that all begin? What inspired that for you?
So I've always loved Jeeps because they remind me of Lego sets because you can do whatever you want to them.
Yep. Take doors off and
right.
add accessories. And
right. And so I had a good friend of mine. He was working at the GMC dealership, and at the time I had a GMC Acadia, so I would take it in to do oil changes and whatnot. And one day he called and he said, "Hey, I know you're looking for a Jeep." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, we just got one. One of our sales guys traded his Jeep in to get one of the Dodges that they had." I said, "Oh, okay." He's like, "But I think you're really going to want this one." And I was like, "Why?" He said, "Well, it's a Sahara, but it's the winter edition."
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "There's no way." Like, so I went in, and per the paperwork, it literally says the winter because it has the white hardtop.
I had no idea they even had that.
Yeah, so it's a winter edition.
Okay.
So
very cool.
we got it, and it took some time to decide on what I wanted to do with it. I knew I wanted to put puzzle pieces all over it. Which, that 7.5-hour project in the driveway was a lot. But then came the name. So us Jeepers were, cool people, and we have to name our vehicles.
Right. Right.
And that was a tough one. And it kind of like bounced between like Spectrum or, Grace wasn't really on the realm of things until randomly this TMI moment. But I was literally in the shower and I just had this like moment of grace. Show grace to even those that are different. And it was
powerful.
the weirdest moment, but I'm like, it's all God, because my prayer was always, I want to make a difference. I want to send a message in honor of winter, but I want to reach families and moms and dads that go through this every single day and be a sign of hope for them that they're not alone. There are resources out there. And so when Grace came, and then it was like an instant show grace to even those that are different.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Yep. And I will say, definitely at these shows, we've done 2. This is our second show. We did Jeep Beach in Daytona earlier this year and just a few weeks ago. And the attention that it draws, people just absolutely love it. There's so much of a connection of, people that have kids that are autistic or other people that have family members that are just instantly drawn to it outside of just it being colorful and being something that people are drawn to. But it opens that door for people to share their story and allows them to understand that they're also connecting with someone that's walking through a journey that they may be walking through.
Right.
We talked with a couple for a solid 30 minutes yesterday, and it was just hearing them out, and they're grandparents kind of raising their granddaughter or grandson rather, that but just hearing their story and just how passionate they are, there's just such a bond and such a connection in the community of automotive. I mean, yeah, we get into our cars and we get into our Jeeps and our trucks and everything, but it really all boils down to people. Right. What brings us together as a community, the cars are an element, but it's the people behind it.
Right.
Have you got any stories that you, through the different shows or anything that you want to share that have definitely
heard
made a
so many
movement?
Oh man, so many. There's a little girl. I saw her twice in the Houston area. And both times she would come up, and she didn't even look for me. She looked for Winter because her parents also drove a Jeep. And she would purposely sit there and look for Winter just to go up and she could be like, "I'm awesome, just like you are." And
great.
Winter's like, "Why are you touching me? And you're a girl." But every single time. And her story is super powerful because she was diagnosed right around the same time Winter was at the age of 2. However, she's 2 years older than him, but she still does not speak fully.
Okay.
And she does the babbling, and she has a lot of, when you sometimes at the grocery store and a kiddo is like, trying to get a piece of candy, and all of a sudden, parents say no,
Yep.
and they just like slam on the floor and they're
Yep.
crying. She has a lot of those,
Okay.
not intentionally. It just kind of happens to her. And so she gets so angry, but when she is around Winter, for instance, she'll sit there and come up and touch him, and she doesn't touch anybody, but she touches Winter, and she's super happy. But this family has struggled with this poor kiddo, walking around just in public areas, and all of a sudden she just goes into these fits. And this also ties into my message, which is super important. I really want people to understand when things like that happen, and you see families that struggle with, having a child that is on the spectrum or just special needs in general, when they throw those fits in the store, wherever it may be, don't stop and stare, show grace to even those that are different, because we're not all the same. We all have moments. Even if you don't have a disability, we get angry, we do dumb things, and, we don't want to be judged. So don't, stop and stare, just if you look great, but don't point. It's not needed, but, show grace. And whenever they first met me and saw the Jeep and saw the message on the back windshield, her mom, she just teared up because she's like, that
Connected.
is so important. Like, you don't understand how important it is to us to know that you have that message, because we struggle with this daily.
Yeah.
People staring, pointing, laughing, other kids making fun of her. And it's not anything that she can control. It just happens.
Yeah.
So, and then her energy shifts with Winter. I don't know what it is when kids on the spectrum get together, but something happens between them.
It's like a club. There's a secret
Yeah.
club that we don't know about,
Right.
and they all know it.
It's kind of like our Jeep community. Everybody
Yeah,
sits
right.
there and says we're a cult, but we're really not. We're really cool people, okay?
So we're on a campaign right now where we're doing multiple shows. The goal is to end at SEMA this year.
It is.
And have your Jeep at front and center at the FlexTread booth. And we are also in the process of kind of giving it a revamp and a freshening. So we're looking for new partners when it comes to wheels, tires, bumpers, steps, accessories.
Yep.
That'll be front and center. We've made some really good connections. All those announcements will be made soon, and I definitely want to reach out to all of our listeners that will be at SEMA to keep an eye out. This will be in the truck and accessories section of SEMA. I believe that's what they call it. I don't remember. It's like overland and truck.
Yeah, I think so.
area.
I think you're right.
So that's where we'll be, and we're looking to. SEMA's already said that they're going to support us and put us in a great spot. So we're just really looking forward to seeing how all that falls into place. So. Just want to definitely let listeners know too that to support this, there is a special edition mats that Martin has created with FlexTread that has the autism awareness on it, and the campaign for Jeeps. You can also get it for trucks as well as muscle cars, and all the proceeds to that will be donated to different. We're still working out the details on that, but it will most probably be the group that you have connected with in Austin, or not Austin. Where is it?
Houston.
Sorry, the other
okay.
Texas city.
It's okay. It's okay.
But really trying to get the word out there, and more importantly, just allowing your story to connect with families and allow people to know they're not alone in this. Yeah. And to really hone in on what, again, those kind of God moments when someone speaks up. If you don't open that door, then that opportunity never comes. And allowing people to know when you get that gut reaction to take action.
Right.
Is there anything that you would want to tell a parent that may be at that point in their life where they have a concern? What kind of words of wisdom would you have that you walk through in your own life that you could share?
Honestly, ask questions.
Yeah.
There's never such a thing as a dumb question. And when it comes to your child, ask, you
Yeah.
know, and if you're not happy with that answer, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. I mean, I got 6 from 6 different pediatricians, you know. I didn't want to settle because I wanted anything and everything I could for him. And so ask questions, you know, and get connected either in your community, reach out to you either, you know, Autism Speaks, they do have a lot of good resources. If you're not local to them or if you live in a smaller community, you know, hop on Facebook and get in some of the mom groups. There are so many different, you know, small organizations that are willing to step up and help you, you know, when it comes to speech therapy, occupational therapy, I mean, all the things. And, you know, ABA is great. It didn't work out really well for Winter. He didn't do well in the classroom setting. So our therapy actually came to our home.
Okay.
And so that was really nice. But it also depends on insurance as well, I guess. However, you know, don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, it may seem like you're alone, but you're really not, because you have a really, really awesome kid that you get to now advocate for and be their voice. And, you know, don't give up. Treat them exactly how you would want to be treated.
Yep.
And, you know, don't make them feel like they are different. Even though they are different, don't make it obvious, you know, let them flourish into their difference, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And
love them on their level.
Yeah. And that's how Winter came up with his own saying, you know, I have autism. Autism doesn't have me.
That's awesome.
And when he said that, it was such a powerful moment in my life because that's God working in him. And I firmly believe that. And he had to discover it, and he did.
Well, he's such a mirror of your passion and your love, and it's been a pleasure to get to know him and meet you as well. We feel like family, and we've only had 2 interactions, but just stories kind of unfold, and there's such a powerful connection there. So if people interested and want to support further, they can always go to FlexTread Floor Mats. Also, Legendary Auto Interiors. You can contact anybody there and just tell them that you heard about it on the Muscle Car Place, and tell them, you know, you heard Winter's story, and you can reach them and contact. How could people get a hold of you if they have further interest and like to connect with you?
Instagram is Jeep Grace on Instagram. Facebook, we don't have a Facebook.
Okay.
But we do have Instagram. So it's Jeep Grace. That's our main source of contact.
Okay. And we'll have all of this on the FlexTread page, as well as more stories and video content that's coming out here soon, and obviously more live video and more coverage at SEMA. So I really appreciate the story, you sharing with us and letting us have this opportunity to connect with other people. So thank you, Bri.
Thank you guys for, you know, welcoming me with open arms, and Winter especially. I mean, I know yesterday, listeners probably don't, but yesterday, the fact that he chose to sit right next to you, that was huge, because when I tell you he's not really a people person at first, he gravitates to people he loves. So
yeah, that's awesome. We love him. Well, thank you.
Of course. Thank you,
it.
guys. Thank you.
Bye.